YouTube is, I always say, like it should be the center of your content marketing strategy. Business owner, once they catch that vision, business owners are like, oh man, I could create a video today that gets views for the next 15 years and brings in leads for the next 15 years. It's a very powerful tool. Probably early last year, before I started really kicking AI into gear, I was working probably 50 hours a week. Now I work maybe 15 hours in the business. Yeah, it's easier to scale a YouTube channel that is founder-led because
all right, we are back. Episode 50, Builders Growth Lab Podcast. Conor's here this time.
Yo,
Whoop.
I'm back, baby.
Yeah, that's right. Episode 50. We've got special guest. It's a YouTube done for you service. His name is Scott Simson. He's going to talk YouTube growth, which is paramount for builders and founders. This will be a great interview. So this is the podcast if you want to learn distribution, you want to learn marketing. My background, I'm an agency owner on the SEO side. Conor's background is on the paid ad side. He's an agency owner. So between us, we solve your marketing problems. So if you're a builder, founder, vibe coder, getting into the space, or you just haven't cracked marketing yet, this podcast is for you. Episode 50, the big 5-0.
Dude, big 5-0, man. That's crazy.
What have you been up to last?
So it's
you
been
on last week, so past couple of weeks.
Yeah. It's been a tumultuous couple of weeks, just from a couple of different areas. Work-wise has been great. So the content flywheel, I don't know, I think 2 weeks ago we kind of spoke about it. It's finally launched. It's doing relatively well. So I'm pretty happy with the progress so far. Like I've gotten a couple blogs published, indexed them, and Search Console's picking up impressions, but there's no clicks yet. So I'm kind of waiting to see how we generate that, right? And that's all about positioning. Content flywheel has been fantastic. Last weekend was my wife's birthday. So we did a little dinner out in the city, spent some time together. So we went to a place called, it's called Dirt Candy. And just, I don't know if I've said this before, my wife's vegan. Like she's all vegan, you know. So she loves like anything obviously that's catered to vegans, and Dirt Candy is an all vegan, I think it's Michelin starred, or it's like a Michelin recommendation restaurant. We've been there a few times. Fantastic tasting menu. It's only like $120 and you get like 6 or 7 courses, and then you can do like a wine pairing. Wow. So dude, it was pretty good. I'm not a vegan, so I have a really tough time.
Yeah, you're a fat kid, huh?
Dude, I'm a fat kid. Yeah. Like I'm
you
just,
and me both, man.
Like, and not just like sweets. I like burgers. I like pizza. I like barbecue.
You like Chinese food on pizza.
I like Chinese food on pizza. Yes, exactly. So it gives you a little glimpse into who I am. But the thing I always find is when we go out to these like only vegan restaurants, it's not that the taste is bad. It tastes great, but I'm starving like an hour after I leave because it's like the vegetables, like, dude, it doesn't do it for me. It doesn't satiate the hunger. So I'll be like, so we went out and went to this restaurant, Dirt Candy, had the course meal. And then we go out to a bar afterwards. We're in the East Village, which is where we like to hang out often. And I don't know, maybe like 3 beers in, but it's like my stomach is basically empty because all I've eaten is like carrots, some mushrooms and some peas, and like I don't even know what else they had, like squash blossoms, like things like that. So it's like there's just nothing in my stomach that's going to absorb any of the alcohol. So I'm like 3 beers in, and it goes from 3 beers to like 6 beers like that, and I'm just like, dude, it was a night. It was a great night. We stayed out. We hung out at some of our favorite bars and stuff in the area too, like Hair of the Dog, which we've gone to since we met, and a few other places. Later night than I would have wanted to have, and I'm way too old for this stuff, but I say it every time and I keep doing it. So one day maybe I'll learn my lesson.
Okay.
We'll see.
Are there booths at that restaurant?
Hair of the Dog or at Dirt Candy?
Dirt Candy.
Dirt Candy, there are booths, but they do like the booth thing where it's like just a booth against the back and then like a chair on the other side.
Oh, okay.
And then Zoe always gets the booth. Like she just, it's like a given. She always gets the booth. Have to give it to her.
That's how I am. I'm the booth prince, I guess you could say.
I always want it.
I like my privacy.
I want to sit in the booth. I'm just not going to do that. But that was kind of the big thing this past weekend. Again, a lot more like stuff rolling out with the content flywheel, which is awesome. And then besides that, I've actually just It's summer, man. Like for me, it's 80 degrees out today. It's beautiful. It's been like this for like the last week now. And I don't know about you, but I almost purposefully like work my tail off during like the colder months. And that's just busier time anyway for marketing, like, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all the stuff at least I do. So I really try to take advantage of working my tail off in the winter months. And then once it gets warmer out, like early out Fridays or taking a day here or there to just go do something outside, because it's like that. Those are just my hobbies. It's what I like to do. So it's
kind of,
it's turning into that. You don't do that?
Okay. A little bit. So when Trestle opens, which for context, it's a downhill mountain bike park here in Colorado. You have to drive up to the mountains, obviously. I'll go up there on like a Thursday morning or something, and I don't know. But as far as like front loading everything in the winter months, I don't know. I'm such a winter person.
I guess that depends though, right? Because if you are a winter person, that's what you like to do. I just like, I go fishing, I play golf, I go to the beach. Like I like water sports, I like skimboarding. Like these are all things I like to do, like as personal hobbies. And the winter for me is kind of like, I hate the cold. I don't like the snow. Like I'm not big into skiing or snowboarding. Okay. Like
I got you.
Like the summer for me is my time to shine and get out there and do stuff.
Well, past week, I've been sleeping. So I've got this new routine. We touched on it a little bit yesterday when you and I chatted on the phone.
Yeah.
Okay, so turns out my cortisol levels were really freaking high. My nervous system was just constant overdrive.
So how did you know that though, too? Because
so one time this happened maybe a year ago. I've just always felt wired in the morning, but this has happened. Now that I think about it, at least twice, maybe 3 times, at least twice, where in the morning I just didn't feel right and I would just puke, just like a house cat. Like,
yeah.
I just run to the toilet and just get it out. And it'd be like 8:30 in the morning, and I wake up at like, I don't know, 6, and I just boot. So last weekend I was talking to Claude and I said, I don't know what's going on. I have trouble sleeping. I'm 27. I'm 6'5". I'm 170 pounds. 6% body fat. Some of that may or may not be exaggerated. Okay, here's my sleeping pattern. Here's what's going on. Here's what I eat. And I feel like just wired in the morning. And then it started asking me a couple questions, 2 or 3 questions. And then I said, and I've been napping during the day for about 45 minutes for the past, let's call it 3 years. And I said, and Claude said it's your cortisol. Like the dead giveaway here is when you nap, you feel like a completely different person. Like in Super Mario when he gets the mushroom and he gets like an extra. Yeah, exactly. Like that's what I feel like. And it said, try this. First of all, you're eating too much sugar, so no sugar after it was like 5 p.m. or something, 6 p.m. Even then, just very small amounts of sugar. You're also not eating enough protein for how active you are between playing hockey.
And you're pretty active. Like you get up early. You ride the bike in the morning. You do the intramural hockey.
I'll go to the gym by 7:30 a.m. and I'll get on the stationary bike and just go ham on that thing.
That sounds awful.
And it's a great way to wake up. But I was doing it all on an empty stomach, just fasted, which I thought was like good for you. And Claude was like, no, like all you're doing is pouring gasoline on the fire with that. That's literally all you're doing. So try this. Try not napping, limiting your sugar. Don't eat past 7 p.m. And first thing in the morning, go outside, go to your balcony and just get sunlight on your eyeballs.
Yeah.
And drink water and a protein yogurt, Chobani. 20 grams protein, almost 0 sugar. Like get something in your blood as early as possible, along with sunlight on your eyeballs. And
those are like the 2 key things you think? Like
that's the 80%. Yeah. Or pardon me. That's the 20% that's going to move the needle 80% for you. And that really has helped. So, I mean, I remember, because I'm a fellow fat kid, I would eat, I love chocolate with walnuts. So like the Hershey Kisses or whatever, the little block, dude, I bury those things. I'll have dude, no, I'll have like 15 of those.
It's like a bag of chips, bro. If you have them open, like it's
Oh my goodness, it's so bad. It's so bad, but they're so good. And I would have that at like 11 p.m. and then it's just like, oh, I wonder why I have like a stomach ache when I wake up. Just such a disgusting human. So I've cut that out. I've been sleeping better, and when I would wake up at like 3 a.m. Oh yeah, and that was another thing. It asked me like, would you wake up at 3 a.m. And I'd say, well, yeah. And my brain would just be on overdrive, and that's the crash and then the spike. So me waking up wired is my nervous system just in overdrive. So I don't do that anymore. It's freaking weird. Like the weirdest thing, and like I'm not as irritable, or like I don't get poopy pants. Like I still kind of get poopy pants still, but like I'm not like that just constant wired state.
So there's something. There's got to be something to it, right? Like,
oh yeah, I mean your blood sugar isn't crashing. Your central nervous system, again, it just isn't in overdrive. So that's been a new thing. So again, more protein with every meal. Limit sugar and magnesium glycinate at about 10:30. So I'm in bed by 11, and I'll wake up around like 1 or 2 to just take a leak, and then I'll just pass out until like 6.
The magnesium glycinate, man.
Yes, good call on that. Yeah, because we were in Breck. I remember he picks them up. That's been new, and what a freaking change that's been. So, also watching NHL playoffs. That is pretty cool. Avalanche, go Avs. They swept the first round.
Saw that.
The first game of the second round was 2 nights ago. That was brutal. That was just pure dog shit. Like, what a horrible game.
Did they lose really badly?
They won. They won 9-6 or something, or 9-5.
Oh, geez, that sounds terrible though.
It was horrible. I told Austin, I sound like a snob. I totally sound like a snob right now, but I told Austin, my girlfriend, I was like, yeah, this is just like men's league hockey. Like, this is just beer league. Like, there was a 2-0 when the Avs had a power play. And they were the best team in the NHL, and there was a 2-0 against them. The Avs got scored on a 2-0. Minnesota just broke it. That's not at the NHL level. Like, those kinds of mistakes, it's just not. I'm surprised.
So it was a junior league playoff game.
Oh, it was like a peewee, like a non-contest. Jesus. Like, it was brutal. But again, I sound like a total snob. But yeah, second round, man, that energy was just freaking awesome. So they play again tonight.
Are you going to any of the games?
I didn't. I opted out tonight to play hockey just to be like more active.
Wow, that's dedication, bud.
If they lose tonight, I'll go to Game 5.
Yeah,
which is So we're in a big.
How much are the tickets running right now for something like that?
A couple $100. But I mean, to me, it's second round. I'll go.
Oh, dude, you gotta go. Like, if you're sure. You gotta go.
So, I've just been face down with Campaign Pilots. Campaign Pilots is basically now as close as it can come. I wouldn't say I'm lazy. I would say I am efficient. And fuck off, Connor. So
for those of you who can't see, I'm snickering over here as he's saying
my high school senior quote was, "I strive for convenience."
Was it really?
That was literally my quote,
dude. Yeah. That's you 100%.
100%. Like, why would I do things where I can just have?
No, I get it. I get it.
Like, I'm not doing keyword research when I can just have a freaking AI agent just do it.
Well, that's the whole point.
And better than me, and in less time. Anyway, so what I'm getting at is Campaign Pilots. SEO still needs a layer of human oversight, but it's now at the point where it can do competitor research, it can do keyword research, it can read your content currently, like what's on your site. So it'll pick up gaps in the competitor research, in the content gaps, and then it will write what you need in order to rank higher than your competitors. So let's say you're like, I don't know, you're a builder for a, let's just say a CRM. Well, it will literally come up with a strategy for you. Your title tags, it will flag, like your title tag needs to be this. Do you approve, disapprove? Your H1 needs to be this. Do you approve, do you disapprove? And it does everything for you now. So, Yeah, I wish I had that when I started my agency, because I don't think I would have developed some of the sleeping habits that I'm trying to break right now. And it makes my life so much easier. Holy smokes, is that thing. That thing is fucking buzzing.
Like I said, I logged in earlier today and yesterday for a bit. It's ready. It's ready to freaking roll.
Yeah, which is pretty badass. So, yeah, playoffs, better sleeping habits. Yeah, and just face down the campaign pilots. So, a lot going on in the AI world. We can talk about like one thing and then just
let's run through the last week in AI, as we like to cover. Let me go through this first one here. So Anthropic eyes a $900 billion. Let me say that again, $900 billion valuation. So this is very recently, end of April. Anthropic is actively fielding offers from investors for roughly $50 billion funding round at valuation between $850 and $900 billion. Absolutely nuts. If it closes at those terms, Anthropic becomes the most valuable private AI company in the world, surpassing OpenAI. No big surprise there. We kind of knew that was coming anyway. OpenAI right now is valued at $852 billion. And again, so Anthropic kind of getting over that hump. It says 850 to 900 billion, but exceeding that number. Absolutely insane. Listen, am I shocked? No. Do I think that these valuation numbers are very inflated just because of how hot AI is right now? Yes, but these guys are they're the forefront of.
They're the reason why.
Yeah, well, they're the reason exactly why. So
I don't know about the reason why, but yeah, I mean they're the layer.
A big
infrastructure. Yeah.
Correct. What do you think, man? You think it's like I think it's overestimating? Is it?
You know what? Like, first thing that popped in my head when I read that headline of 900 billion valuation was Austin Powers when Dr. Evil asked for like $10 million, and then, like, they all start laughing.
Everyone laughs.
They're like the 70s or something. He's like, "Oh, how about you just ask for $60 bajillion?" Everybody starts laughing. Like, that's kind of what's like.
What comes after billions? Is it zillions?
Billions? Oh, isn't it trillions?
Trillions? Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Trillions.
Yeah.
And then it's zillions. That's
just
insane.
that scale of close to a trillion. That's just like I can't even like. My elevator doesn't go to that floor. So my thoughts on that, look, it's a great product. I would lose my shit if that thing ever went away. I mean, it's helping me solve my sleeping issues and building campaign pilots with it and doing this podcast and SEO work and like so much else.
Dude, listen, the thing is too, the valuation, it's insane to me, but it also makes a lot of sense. Again, these guys are the forefront of the AI, revolution, evolution, whatever you want to call it. But the use I've seen from Anthropic, Claude specifically, in like maybe just the last like 2 or 3 weeks. I'm talking about like colleagues, people on my team, like vendors I work with, like everybody's using it now. Where like 2 months ago, people were like, "Oh, I don't know yet. I'm not really sure how to use it. What do I do with it?" Like everyone is just like, they're in it now, right? Whether it's to do a simple math equation or whether it's to write an email or whether it's to create something like campaign pilots, right? Everybody is in this stuff now doing something with it. So listen, it makes sense. I just find the numbers wildly astronomical. Like, it just nonsensical.
Yeah, wild stuff. So, okay, so we've got a couple bits of AI news. Look, we had Claude's bajillion-dollar IPO. Was there anything else notable?
Yeah, not so much with that one. I mean, again, 900 billion. It makes me sick to my stomach to see that number. Like, you can't even give me 0.5% of that. Just a 0.01 even, like, but no, so that kind of covered that. Let's cover this other one. There's a few more we have, but I want to talk about this one first. So Claude can now plug directly into Photoshop, Blender, and Ableton. I've never heard of this last one. Ableton Live, but Photoshop is obviously a very well-known creative platform. Most designers use it in most agency settings or just freelance, etc. And Claude also already connected to Canva. So this to me is the progression of where they're going on the design side of things, right? I just used Claude Design last week. I had some pretty decent output.
What do you think?
It's super buggy, dude. It is super buggy. Yeah. Like I didn't mind the output, and I actually have a client she's going to use the output from it. I had to create 50 downloadable lead magnets, right? She wants 50 different lead magnets to just carry her through for the next few years, right? Or at least the next year. I just had a template, like a 2-page PDF. Information goes in here, swap out some images, right? Maybe change the layout here or there. And it did it well, with some back and forth in the prompting. But there's moments where you have to like log out and log back in because it's not able to like pick up where you left off. So it keeps retrying itself.
Really?
Yeah, it won't listen to like your prompts 100%. Like it still hasn't pushed anything to Canva, even though it's a connector. I've tried to push things to Canva to edit them and it won't do it. Whole point being though, back to the story, right? So now that it can plug directly into a Photoshop or a Blender, again, I just think this is them transitioning more out of the, fully content oriented space and information and education and whatever else, and really leaning into the design capability, which is another step towards, when are they going to be a full service agency, right? When is Claude going to come out with, Claude marketing, right? Like the full service, like here's your design agent, here's your research agent, here's your email writer agent, right? And collectively put it all together and really put, people like me, maybe not out of business, but it's going to put a lot of pressure on agency owners, especially small to mid-size agency owners, to start leveraging AI a bit more or think of different ways to create opportunity when things like design and content creation are being done by AI.
I think that'll, I don't know. I feel like there's a big enough TAM to still be, successful, still be a profitable agency, and people will just pay for you to just do it for them. Just a done for you service.
Yeah.
So, it is scary. Like when the foundation moves like that. Yeah. That is pretty scary, but
it is. But listen, I think it's also how do you take advantage of it, right? As anybody, contractor, agency owner, vibe coder, etc. If you're going to accelerate the production process, more or less, right? Like if I have a client who wants, I don't know, a set of Facebook ads, say they want 4 different ads and they're just statics and they need them to be plugged in, this week, it's going to take me 48 hours to really gotta type out the brief to my designer, give it to my designer, tell them maybe some suggested imagery, right? Get it back, review it, revisions, go to a client. Like that's a 48-hour process almost at minimum, right? It's like, how much is this going to accelerate me being able to say, okay, hey, you have my brief on X client. These are their Facebook ads, throw them together. And listen, I think they can even do that now. It's just the output isn't as polished as I think most people want it to be. So if you use it the right way, again, I don't know if it'll replace anyone specifically. It might just make you a faster, more efficient agency or, again, contractor, which just allows you to take on more clients. So it could be a boon.
Gotcha. Our guest is Scott Simson. He is the founder and CEO of a YouTube done-for-you agency called Graffiti Media. Hopefully I'm saying that right, Graffiti Media. And look, he's going to talk YouTube growth, YouTube strategy, rappers, thumbnails. By rapper, I mean like production of the actual video. Thumbnails, captions, all of that stuff. So let's code over to Scott right now. All right, we are sitting down with Scott Simson, CEO and founder of Graffiti Media. Scott, thanks so much for being on the show.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate it. And thanks for reaching out. And it's an honor to be here.
Yeah, awesome to have you here, man.
Yeah. So tell me, look, you're in the YouTube space. How has so you're an agency owner. First of all, you're an agency owner. You're talking to about guys with 20 years experience right here.
Yeah.
And you're in the YouTube space. So how's life been in the past, call it 3 years in this space?
3 years has been, it's been good. Agency life is stable. In this industry, in the YouTube industry, it requires a bit of like nuanced education and some intuitive, almost like an intuitive ability to understand organic content strategy. So, some of our bottlenecks that we kind of run into are just like, where do we find talented people who understand YouTube? And those are some of the things that we've been working on scaling past. But like overall, I think the demand for YouTube has increased where we have found, our biggest hurdles has been how can we scale to meet the demand, and how can we hire to find people that meet that demand, that are intelligent enough in the organic YouTube space to be able to scale without overwhelming ourselves with just sheer time spent in ideation and deliverables.
So my background is in SEO.
Yeah.
And I looked up the keyword YouTube growth.
Yeah.
And it's just bam, just like up and to the right.
Yeah.
It's like this golden keyword. Why do you think that is?
So, I mean, there's a couple reasons. Number one, YouTube is, I always say, like it should be the center of your content marketing strategy. Everybody else is leaning into shorts, and all of these other platforms are timeline oriented, where it's just like you just swipe, right? Where it's like YouTube's such a powerful search engine. You can go and search how to change my car tires and find a video that pops up that's 15 years old, and it's still getting views. Like you can't get that on Facebook. You can't go to Facebook and just start scrolling and see content that's 10 years old and be like, oh, I'm going to engage with this. Or that's exactly what I was looking for. With YouTube, it's different, right? So as like a business owner, once they catch that vision, business owners are like, oh man, I could create a video today that gets views for the next 15 years and brings in leads for the next 15 years. It's a very powerful tool. And I think that there's kind of like, it seems like every year there's a wave of education that comes out talking about how powerful YouTube is, and it's inspiring to the new generation of business owners who are looking for organic ways to increase their lead flow.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And before I kind of want to talk a little bit about where you started too.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the content planning, just sticking with the YouTube stuff for now, and the difference between a Facebook or an Instagram or a TikTok, I would assume the strategy is entirely different, right? Because of what you're saying is you're not trying to, pivot yourself into something that's a hot topic for the week. You're trying to say, okay, what can I put out there that's useful, not just now, but like you said, 10 years from now, right? 15 years from now.
Yeah. So we have, depending on the size of the channel and what the goals are of the business owner who we're working with, there's a variety of different strategies we can use. The strategy I always come back to, if somebody's like, hey, just lead the show. We have a long-term vision, just grow us, get us our ideal avatar. We generally always start with education, search engine optimized education based content, like how to get 1,000 followers on Facebook. And there's always a revolving door of people who are searching for those terms. And so it's some of the lowest hanging fruit of any content strategy that's out there. And then on the plus side, it's got evergreen potential as well. So those types of videos tend to have a very long shelf life. And if you have 100 of those types of videos, your view floor, right? The average daily amount of viewers coming to your channel increases. And so your subscribers increase, and then your warm audience increases. And that all just adds to the speed at which you can grow a following. But we also have some people who are like, no, I want rapid growth. I want to get to 100,000 subscribers in the next 6 months. We're like, okay, well, let's do more of an entertainment-based style of content. Might be a little bit higher on the production quality, or we'll do a trending topics. What did Trump say today? If you can do something like that, I mean, you can get 10,000 subscribers in a matter of days if you're just like repeating or analyzing everything that Donald Trump says, because there's something new that comes out of that guy's mouth every day. Or celebrities, or just like anybody.
He's a great way to help you ideate on content, right? Like
exactly.
Just follow him on Truth Social, and you're like, great, I'll follow this guy.
Yeah. You never know what's coming. It's always, that entertainment factor, or the spin, like the ability to spin that content into a lesson that's applicable to your ICP is pretty easy too. So, I mean, it just depends on what you want, what the outcome, what outcome you want.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So, I know, Scott, that we wanted to kind of to go back here from where you started, right? And I have some notes. You were a financial planner at Simson Financial before any of this, right? With
Long time
the
ago.
YouTube agency, all that stuff. Yeah, way back. We got a good research team. Give us like a little bit of insight. Like how'd you start there? What kind of got you to the point you are now? If you could give us a quick synopsis.
Yeah. So Simson Financial was about, oh my gosh, that was probably 20 years ago. I've always been an entrepreneur, and school, traditional education was never really like my strength. I went to college and I graduated with an associate's degree, which is like, what is that? What does that get you? What does it mean? Back then, it might open some doors 20 years ago. Now it's like, you can't do it. You can barely do anything with like a college degree, let alone an associate's degree. Mm-hmm. And I realized, a couple years into college, I was like, this isn't for me. I'm more of a talker, an entrepreneur. I want to get into building my own business. And so I started looking at different career paths where I had unlimited upside potential, and they didn't require a traditional education at the time. And so financial services was one, right? You can instinctively become really good at reading stock charts and picking stocks and investment opportunities. Insurance was another, real estate was another. And I kind of dabbled in all three of those. I even did car sales for a little bit just so I could learn how to sell.
Not really.
Yeah. And in the process, I was thinking like, I'm testing these out to see if it's something that I actually would love to do for the rest of my life. But in retrospect, I realized I built so many different skills just from kind of jumping from thing to thing to thing, that when it was time for me to start my own business, I had learned how to sell. I had learned how to do due diligence on investment opportunities. I had learned how to talk to people and read people. And all of these things were super impactful when I started my business, and led to some pretty rapid growth right out of the gate.
That's pretty. So I heard the same word a few times, instinct, right?
Yeah.
Instinctual. So that just seems to be something that's been with you from the start all the way up to now, right? And that's kind of the parallels between what you're doing today and what you were doing back then.
Yeah, I think that, instinct obviously is, it comes with wisdom, comes with, building wisdom, just the ability to take in all of, to process data in a way that is, I think, constructive, as opposed to just getting a sheer amount of data that you have no idea what to do with. And I think the more that you experience in life, the more wisdom you build, the sharper your instincts are in whatever area it is that you're, applying them to. And mine just happened to be business and entrepreneurship. But I think like anybody with domain expertise, like even if you're working at an HVAC company for 10 years, like you have instincts that you've built in that company. And so I think that it's just, applies to the domain that you're interested in or that you're applying it to.
Very true. Makes total sense.
I think it's skills compounding and pattern recognition.
100%.
Well, especially like in that domain, like that niche.
Yeah.
Two quick sidebars. So you're in finance space around 2008.
Yeah.
Were you early into Bitcoin then? Since you saw what happened in 2008?
No, it's funny. I made a post though about that on Facebook a couple weeks ago, and it was like, if you put $1,000 into Bitcoin in 2009, it was like October of 2009, that would be worth $100 billion today. And I'm like, man, that would have been amazing.
Right.
But no, I had no idea what Bitcoin even was. I mean, I still am like, what is Bitcoin? It's
a great question.
It's just
I have
made
no
up.
idea, Scott.
I play hockey that with a guy that was in that same space around 2008 or in 2008.
Yeah.
Which is why it was created. And he won't come out and say it, but we've heard, and this is on like different Reddit threads too, that he's like one of the first 500 guys in Bitcoin, which is bananas.
Oh,
yeah, that's
he's loaded.
Banana lands. Yeah,
that's amazing.
So he's like, fuck Lehman Brothers, like fuck all that.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda, right?
Yeah.
It's I have so many experiences like that where you're just like, in retrospect, if I could go back in time, had a time machine, I would be worth trillions of dollars.
Oh, of course, we all would, right?
I know.
Yeah. And it says, okay, so our crack research team, his name is Claude.
Nice.
He says that you were down to a very, very small bank account,
Yeah.
which, look, I myself have been there. I've had 3 eviction letters in my front door. So I know what that's like. And there's a trait that entrepreneurs have. Actually, the founder, I can't remember his name, Conor, was Andre? He said that certain entrepreneurs have a trait, and I think it's Portuguese. Entrepreneurs have a trait that they can unshit themselves. So
Oh yeah.
so when you were down to that, it's kind of vulgar, but when you're at that point, how did you do that? How did you get out of that? How did you dig your way out of that?
Yeah, I took a job for my father-in-law. Yeah,
There you
that
go.
was
Okay.
there's also a point where you kind of like realize like, hey, I need to dig myself out for a little bit. You take your lumps and you don't you admit to yourself that like this doesn't have to be forever, but you also, I had 2 kids at that time and we had like $3 in our bank account. And I was like, I've got to do something. So I took a job for my father-in-law. Actually, it was kind of they were leaving on a church mission for 2 years. And they're like, hey, do you want to come to Texas and take over our business for the next 2 years? And I was like, it was perfect timing. It was one of those things where you're just like, this is divine intervention. Like, I need this.
Yep.
You're offering it. Let's do it. And so we did it. And what that did was it gave me flexibility because it was a very entrepreneurial, like minded, friendly type of a business. It was a orthodontic lab. I just made retainers for kids who were getting out of braces, but I worked my own hours. I could take as many as I wanted or as few as I wanted. And so I really worked at my own pace and time, but it gave us a base income that we could say, cool, our needs are all met. Now we can dive into something else. And my wife and I, the next thing that we dove into was we wrote a book. It was funny, ironically, like we wrote a book when we were broke about being successful. And again, in retrospect, I realized like we knew everything that we needed to be successful. We wrote it all down, like literally in our book. It's written. The roadmap is there, and that book became the roadmap for us to build from and to become successful. So the next business that we started was actually a YouTube channel to promote the book, and that YouTube channel ended up being the thing that freed us financially. And so it's a pretty cool story, but ultimately we got to the point where we were full-time YouTubers for a couple of years, and that's knowledge
awesome.
that we gained from growing a YouTube channel is the basis for what I have built at Rafidi.
How different was YouTube then than it is now, Scott? Like, just I have some notes here too, but I'd love to hear your take on it.
Yeah, there were some like cheat codes that you could use on YouTube, and so that we started getting really serious in 2014. And I mean, that was back in the day where you could put, women on your thumbnails and just get like thousands of clicks. Not that we did that. Like we didn't do that.
But still, yeah.
But you could clickbait like pretty effectively, and you would get millions and millions of views. And then a lot of that changed. They started reading signals that were more based around satisfaction of the audience as opposed to how many people are clicking on things, and we should show this because a lot of people are clicking on things. And so that's all changed. But yeah, it was much easier to build a YouTube channel, I think, in 2014 than it is today. There's a lot more people on YouTube and a lot more quality content. And so now you're kind of fighting over value as opposed to fighting over clickability. And, we know which levers to pull now, but it's much different game than it was 12 years ago.
And to your point, it's so saturated, right? Like you can't just dial into one specific topic or niche anymore. It's like everybody's talking about everything all at once. So
yeah,
I remember back then too. Pardon me, Connor. Sorry,
you're good.
I remember back then too. Like I was starting to watch Christian Guzman and like Max Tuning, like their YouTube channels, the fitness guys. By the way, I've never met Max Tuning. He seems like the funniest, most annoying kid, and good for him for selling his candy company. That's pretty amazing what that dude pulled off. But back then there was only like a small handful of them, and you could tell like they were just trying different ideas for different content, and it just blew up.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
Christian was
Yeah.
one of
And
them, and
they created a path that everybody else just kind of copied. And even now, nobody really I mean, some people create new concepts, but I would say it's like a handful of creators who are trying new things, and when it blows up, it trickles down to everybody. And so then everybody copies that framework, that title structure, that thumbnail design. And so it's like a few people at the top who are blessing the rest of us with content to copy. And that, I mean, that's from a business owner perspective, like that's scalable, right? I can invent, I've invented new topics, I've invented new ideas, and we've had videos that have tens of millions of views from stuff that I have just ideated out of thin air. But from a scaling perspective, it's much easier to go and look at what Danny, no, like I want to say Mr. Beast. Everybody uses Mr. Beast, but somebody like Dan Martell, right, in the business niche, to look at something that Dan Martell's doing, be like, oh, that one is an outlier that popped off. I'm going to take that same concept and I'm going to apply it to fitness.
yeah,
Right? It's 10 brutal truths that bodybuilders don't want you to know. I don't know. And and it's really easy to find ideas now. And before, it was like you had to kind of come up with them, test them, and if they worked, you double down. If they didn't, then you're kind of, SOL.
Yeah.
I remember Alex Hermosi started. I maybe it was him. I don't know, like you talk about new concepts. Alex Hermosi, he was the first one that I spent a lot of time on YouTube.
Yeah.
Let me back up, like a lot of time on YouTube, because I can get whatever I want like right away.
Yeah.
Like I learned how to code on there. I learned SEO on there, and I was following Alex Hermosi for a long time.
Nice.
And he was the first guy I saw that had that like the card in the background of like the tweet.
Yeah.
And then it's like there's copy on there.
Yep.
And then like seriously, like a week later, all these people I saw just like
Everybody.
like basically just copying that. So maybe he was the first one, or somebody on his team maybe that came up with that. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, like I know 100% what you're talking about.
Yeah. When you get to
like
that level too, when you get a few million subscribers, you kind of incidentally become a trendsetter. And, I think a lot of it kind of boils down to the brand that you've built as well. Like if you're someone worth following, then you will just automatically set trends because people are like, did you see what Hermosi did? Did you see what Amangadzi did? Did you see what Mr. Beast did? And it just becomes talked about because they have this like celebrity-esque type of a persona. And that's attractive to most people. Most people, are followers, I think. And so as soon as they do something that's interesting, then it trickles down to the masses.
Yeah. So what goes into with the YouTube videos now, right, that you post for clients or what you're collaborating on? Like what goes into the research when it comes to like the thumbnail and the title, because those look like they're the highest priority items in terms of output.
Yeah. When it comes to title and thumbnail, we really try to, I have our entire team go and do research before we ever even come up with an idea for a title and thumbnail, because I want to prove viability first. Again, like in order to scale an agency, you can't just rely on your team's instincts, because a lot of times like they don't have them yet. And most people, especially in the YouTube field, who are strategists for hire, have not built anything themselves. They've worked for other people and they've studied YouTube, but they don't know what it's like posting a video that they think is going to do well and then have it tank. Or they don't know what it feels like to connect a title and a thumbnail that gets 10 million or 15 million views. And like I have that instinct where I can be like, this title and this thumbnail are going to explode. Like I know it. But most people in the space don't have that ability, or they would be doing it themselves. And so the thing that is scalable, again, is proven results. So when we come up with a title and a thumbnail, I have my team do research, and we've got a couple of tools that we use. We go and do research, and we say, are these outliers? Find me at least 3 outliers to prove that this is a viable idea. And we don't create a design if it doesn't have at least 3 3 pieces of supporting evidence that would show that it is.
Gotcha. Okay. So does the research take a long time for that as well, or is it usually pretty quick and you and your team are kind of dialed into what you need to look for?
Yeah, we've got a SOP now that's like you can pretty much ideate any video within 10 to 15 minutes and find supporting evidence. Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
And you think that separates you guys? I would assume there's other agencies out there, right, that are competitors with you. And like you said, strategists. Do you think that's what separates you guys from them? Would that be like one of the unique value factors there?
Yeah. Well, so the issue is with AI, it's kind of leveled the playing field, right? So anybody can like take the transcript of what I'm saying right now and probably create a pretty decent SOP with Claude. Like Claude can analyze the context of what I'm saying and create an SOP for a content strategy. And so that kind of removes a lot of that unicorn unique value that we offer. And so a lot of our unique value now is built in our expertise, our experience, the time that we've been in agency, the people that we've worked with, and our case studies. And so it's kind of a marketing game, right? It's less about what's your unique value, or are you capable, or do you have like the skills that it takes to do this? And it's become more of show me the proof that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so we compete more on that. I think with that messaging is like, hey, we've been doing this for 7 years. Most of these guys, they'll jump in and within 18 months they burn out, and then they turn into they build a coaching offer, or they go into like one-on-one consulting because it's more flexible. Yeah. Agency work is hard. You guys know.
Oh, we know, man. We know. We're in it every day. Every day.
I mean, it's not just like the grind. It's like your client, like the client personalities, right? Like you get a client that comes in and they're ambitious and they're texting you 100 times a day. You get a client that comes in that's apathetic and they're just like, just do it. I'll just keep funding you until they have a bad month, and then you're the first thing to go, right? So it's.
Oh yeah. Listen, I like to say that while I'm the same person foundationally, I think I'm 10 different people to 10 different clients.
Yep. Because you're a chameleon.
That's how you have to be. You're adaptive. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. And you know what else? I think it was Steve Jobs, I think, that said he hates advisors because they don't have skin in the game.
Yeah.
And I think, like it's exactly right. Of like, if in my opinion, let me rephrase that. In my opinion, I think that's spot on. Like if you really had that kind of expertise, you would have either done it before, or you'd be doing it now. Yep. Like you wouldn't be building somebody else's asset.
Yeah.
Right. Like you'd be doing your own. So
when you also become, I joke about it, but it's true. Like I'm a therapist more than a strategist, right? Like I'm talking people off a ledge daily. I'm like talking them out of like, just like blowing up their business all the time. It's just the nature of this job.
It is. That is a great comparison. Yes, you definitely have to be a therapist. You're just sitting on the phone talking about nothing that you'll be working on except just a one-to-one with the client.
You got this.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the algorithm.
Great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Is there an 80-20, Scott, for packaging, for YouTube packaging? Is it like spend most of your time on the thumbnail, spend most of your time on the title? Is there like, if somebody had like a very limited team, what should they be spending the most time on?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, there's 2 aspects to YouTube. It's getting them to click and getting them to stay. And so I think they're all equally as important, but it starts with the click. And so that's where I always say, put the emphasis there, because if you can get them to click, if you can master the click, then getting them to stay is just a matter of the structure of your content. It's just your flow. It's much harder to learn how to package something for clickability than it is to script something for retention. So, and it's hard to say definitively like what's the 80-20 there, but I would say like if you can master packaging, then you will become very successful.
So you have a LinkedIn post too on the like at Mr. Beast,
Yeah.
like a retention graph within the video, and it's 18 spikes in one video, so one every other minute.
Yep.
And it's basically a dopamine hit, right? You're watching the video, so that's really what you're speaking to. Is great, yeah. Video creation, get the click, but it's more so the actual content and what you're offering there that kind of provides that dopamine hit that you're speaking to.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's, getting into retention side of things. That's what we call value beats and retention beats. How frequently throughout your content are you dropping a line that will lead people to feel like I can't miss what's coming up next? We try to do that. We try to space that out about every 45 seconds. And then value about the same, about 45 seconds to a minute. We want somebody to be like, whoa, my mind is blown. That was great information. And if you do it especially with retention, if you give too much retention, if it's like every 15 seconds where you're like, but before I get to that, let me tell you this, right? Like people are going to be like, all right, dude, like you're just
annoyed,
dragging us
man.
on. This is annoying. But about 45 seconds is enough time for them to get that, like, get that little bit of dopamine. They're like, oh, cool, something's coming up. And then they start to wane. And then you're like, oh, cool, something's coming up. And then they start to wane. Value can be like, you can literally set up the entire video to drop one piece of major value at the end. And as long as you're just leading up to that throughout the duration of the video, people will stay. But retention beats you need to have more frequently.
Is your team working with a lot of, or anybody in the AI space or like the SaaS space? And if so, what problems do you see them having?
Yeah, we don't really work with anybody in those spaces yet. It's kind of a newer field, and so a lot of times what ends up happening is people who will start in the space, they'll grow in AI too. Like you can jump on the AI bandwagon and grow a channel relatively fast. And there's kind of this like mentality that people go through where they're like, they get this momentum and they just kind of shut everything out. And then they think that they're in their head, they're like, the ego kind of kicks in and they're like, yeah, nothing can touch me. I'm on this like rocket ship up. And then they hit their first plateau, and that's when they start asking. They start asking questions. They start asking for help because then they've been humbled and been kicked in the teeth. They might even like settle down a little bit. And that's usually when people call us, is when they hit that. So we haven't had a lot of folks in the AI space get to the point where their momentum is slowed because it's moving so fast. And they'll go from, ChatGPT, here's, how to create custom GPTs and everything that you need to know about that. And then it falls, and then Claude takes off and they're like, I'm jumping into Anthropic content. And so they're still kind of on that upward trajectory. It's actually a really good niche to be in, but yeah, we haven't worked with a lot of folks in that field yet.
When you say plateau, like what's usually the first plateau?
Yeah, first plateau is when you've worn out a topic. So when you've, I wouldn't even say you've like reached max total addressable market, but a lot of times what'll happen is we look for signals. So in initial content strategy, we'll say, hey, here are 5 topics. Let's do, topic A, B, C, D, E, and we'll do them just in a row. And the idea is like and then if nothing pops, then we'll do them over again. The idea is like to test a variety of these topics. And then when one of them takes off, becomes an outlier, does better than the rest, we'll double down on that topic. And a lot of times what will end up happening is that you'll double down on that same topic over and over again. And then your audience is just kind of like, all right, we've heard this before. And then those videos lose effectiveness. And then you have to move into a different space in order to evolve to get to that next plateau. And then it happens there.
Is it just like fatigue, Scott? Like just like creative fatigue almost, or topical fatigue?
Yeah, it's topical.
Really?
It's topical fatigue. And then, also like as soon as something takes off on your channel, 800 other people see it and they're like, I'm going to do the same video.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so then all of a sudden you're competing, you've created your all these competitors and now they're just wearing down the topic. We actually blew up a YouTube channel in it was like the law of attraction manifestation space. And this guy was crushing. I mean, we were getting millions of views a month on his content. and he was booking like 500 sales calls from, a month from his content. He was just crushing. And then all of a sudden AI started writing scripts, and you start seeing all these faceless channels pop up, and they've just stolen all of his scripts, rewritten them with ChatGPT, and then used AI voices, 11 lab voices, to basically say the exact same things that he was saying. And his impact diminished. I mean, we're getting probably 200,000 or 300,000 views on average per video, and it diminished to the point where he's getting like 30,000 views per video.
Jeez, just eating his lunch.
And then we had to evolve. And so that's, it's just, if you don't have an evolution strategy, then you will lose momentum from fatigue.
Yeah, you mentioned the faceless YouTube channels, right? Like, what's your take on them? Long-term success, can they have that? Are they really just kind of, these shots in the dark that kind of parasite onto other content? What's your view there?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of, I'm a huge fan of quality content. I'll watch faceless content. I watch faceless content all the time on like X. People post their stuff on X or in shorts on TikTok. Like I'll watch that stuff. The biggest problem with faceless is like, you have to be really good at evolving fast, because again, it's faceless content is even easier to copy than talking head content. And and because just like, especially the good stuff, like when something works, all faceless channels are like, oh, I could do the exact same thing and I'll have a video out in 2 hours, right? The speed to duplicate or clone that content is so fast that you have to constantly be on top of it. So most of these guys who are talking about faceless, who are like, faceless is the way to go, right? They're selling a course and they're making all their money off of courses. And they're faceless because they know like the faceless grind is so freaking difficult. You just have to constantly be in front of trends, and starting trends, and then just change as soon as everybody else.
Sounds like so much work from a research, and just like you're constantly have to be just like viewing something like new. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly.
Almost not worth it. How does So another question I had too, right, is how do you balance long form and short form content? With one another, right? Does one support the other better? Like, what's your strategy there?
Yeah, this is such a sensitive topic because everybody wants to do longs and shorts. In fact, we have a lot of our clients who are doing longs and shorts. We just started moving all of our clients' shorts off of their main channel that they're doing long form content on, because what we are noticing is that unless you have a very specific strategy for creating short form content, you actually build two audiences that don't cross-pollinate. And YouTube, when you release a new video, YouTube first sends it out to your warm audience to see how they react to it. And they will send it out to your long form audience and your short form audience, no matter what format the content is in. So if you create a long and you have a bunch of shorts watchers, they're going to send it out to your shorts watchers. And if those watchers are not interested in that content, they're not interested in that format, they're not going to watch, then YouTube holds that content back. And so it was really interesting because we pulled the plug on shorts on a lot of our client channels, and almost immediately saw a spike in long form content. And so now we're just keeping everything separate. Podcasts are a little bit different. Because podcasts, like everybody, when you watch a podcast, you know that it's a clip from a long form video. And so you have a higher likelihood of going back and watching. Like Joe Rogan, I'll see Joe Rogan's clips everywhere. And I'll be like, oh, that's a cool episode. I'm going to go find it. And then I'll listen to it while I'm on my walk or whatever.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Do you think somebody would find in a podcast, somebody would find the short first or like the full episode?
Yeah.
Asking for a friend.
Most people will find the shorts first because shorts are emotional, like interest based. Like you have a higher likelihood of stumbling across a short than you do going and searching for a long form podcast.
Yeah.
Unless that long form podcast is titled in a very specific way that's like search friendly, you've got a higher likelihood of running into a short on, probably even a separate social media platform than YouTube Shorts.
Okay. How are you guys using AI right now in your team, like your workflow?
So AI is the backbone of our entire like SOP, like all of our SOPs. We have custom GPTs. I have custom tools that I've built. We use Claude, and I've got Open Claude set up on my desk over here that I'm just like sending emails through and doing ideation for me. But like Claude Cowork is pretty insane, like what you can do with Claude now. And we're just using Anthropic for a lot. ChatGPT we've kind of stopped using because we've noticed it's just gotten worse and worse for the agency. But AI is the backbone of everything. Like, and it's me personally. I was before, probably early last year, before I started really kicking AI into gear, I was working probably 50 hours a week. Now I work maybe 15 hours in the business.
That's awesome, man.
And then everything else I put towards building my brand and content and things that will help us in the long term. Really, where it saves us the most time. It not only saves us time, but it also has enhanced our offers, right? Like before AI, we weren't able to write scripts because it would just take so much time. Now we can write 20-minute scripts for our clients in 5 minutes using Claude, and they're good scripts. They're high retention, very interesting scripts for our people. So we just have SOPs for virtually every aspect of what we're doing. ChatGPT, we've kind of left in the dust. It has failed to keep
Most
up
people have.
with what we're needing.
Yeah.
Anthropic is where we're at, what we're leaning into now. But I don't know. They're doing some weird stuff too. So who knows who's going to be next? I don't. There's like no loyalty. I have zero loyalty to any of these platforms. It's just whoever can create the solution that helps us the most is where we're focusing our energy and attention.
100%, man. 100% agree.
Yep. That's it. Anything? Is the team doing anything with AI agents?
Just me. We haven't really found a good way to create an agentic system that isn't super nuanced and based off of the individual user who's using it. And I haven't found, like, my team is using AI in very nuanced ways, and we haven't found a universal way that we could be like, we can train a new team member around how to use an agent this way. In all honesty, we're plugged into the AI space like pretty in depth, just from like, our conference and doing some of the things that we do. But one of the biggest issues that I think corporations are running into is there's no one incredible way that a corporation can use AI at scale that is trainable. It's very hyper focused or hyper specific to the individual user's inputs. And then if you were to say, use this same prompt, Joe and Sally use the same prompt, you're going to get two completely different outputs from an LLM.
Yep.
So how do you create systems around that? You can't yet. And I think that's the big thing that these guys like Sam Altman and Dario are focusing on. Like, how do you create an AI that can operate universally the same for everyone?
Yep.
Unless that AI has so much context, like the context windows are in the trillions, and it virtually never runs out of memory, and it runs the business by itself. I think that's ultimately where we're heading to, but I just don't see a way that corporations can incorporate it universally yet.
You had mentioned, Scott, your conference coming up in October. Can you talk more about that, the AI marketing world?
Yeah, so AI marketing world is a conference for business owners, marketers, entrepreneurs who want to use AI to scale their business. So we teach how to use AI to market your business. We teach how to use AI to build products. We teach how to use AI to to scale operations. And our keynote this year is Russell Brunson. We're very stoked about that. It's a great event. So yeah, October 21st through 24th in Dallas.
Great public speaker. I've listened to that dude before Alex Hormozy blew up at, using ClickFunnels, before all that went down. I've been listening to that dude. I mean, when did his first book come out?
Yeah, .com Secrets. I think.
That was.
Yeah, it was
10,
probably
12 years.
10 to 12 years ago.
Years, yeah, and he just put his stuff on YouTube, and I was like, "This is free, all right, yeah, I'm in."
Genius.
Sign me
Genius.
up. Is this the first one? Is this maybe like a couple of years old, or what?
Yeah, this is year 2. So we the conference prior to AI Marketing World was called Video Marketing World, and we ran that from 2019 all the way up to 2022, and then we 23, and then we resurrected it, but pivoted to AI Marketing World in 2025. This year is year 2 of AI Marketing World, and we're gonna crush it. It's exciting.
That's awesome, man.
Hell yeah. Okay, cool. What surprised? So your first year was last year. What surprised you about the AI space last year that maybe you didn't know going in?
Well, so when we ran Video Marketing World, principles of content virtually don't change. And so you can create a presentation 6 months in advance, and it's not going to be any different than, at 6 months prior to the point that you give that presentation. With AI, it shifts every day. Yeah. And so we launched AI Marketing World, all of our sales for AI Marketing World in December of 2024. And we were like, what do we center this around? And we were trying to predict what was going to take place over the course of 8 months. And it was impossible. And both of us were like, is it going to be agents? Is it going to be, so ultimately like vibe coding was where we landed. But we didn't decide on vibe coding until like 3 weeks before the event. This year, we're still leaning into vibe coding because I think it's one of the biggest opportunities for entrepreneurs, especially in like the micro SaaS space. Like build a tool that solves one problem and then use it internally. It'll save you time, but you can also sell it, even at a low price point. You get a couple thousand people to buy your tool, you can make, a few $1,000s. Yep. And so vibe coding and agentic are kind of the hot topics this year. And I think, but I also don't know what's going to come rolling down the pipeline come October. I think it's all going to shift on its head. Yeah. So we're braced for it though. We're excited.
Again, every day there's something new that you're like, oh, okay, didn't know that was coming in, or so.
Exactly. I'm going to place a bet. I'm going to say Anthropic is going to be public by then.
That's a good one.
Yeah. The other thing that I worry about with these guys though, they're so overinflated with investment capital that they have to get their compute expenses down and they have to charge more. And I don't know, in order to stay alive. And then you've got these models that are open source that are catching up. So I don't know. It could just be like, I think OpenAI I think there's a day where they might not even exist. Like they might just completely disappear because of how much investment capital they have and how little revenue they generate. Mm-hmm. Who knows?
Okay, cool. Well, Scott, as we wrap up here, any final, let's say there's a builder in the space, AI builder, founder, wants to build a YouTube channel. Should it be a personal brand, with John Doe YouTube channel, or should it be the brand of, the actual company that person wants to build? What are 3 pieces of advice you could leave us with?
Yeah, it's easier to scale a YouTube channel that is founder led because they're talking about things that people will build empathy and have emotion applied towards, as opposed to a business who's just like, they treat YouTube as like a product. Here is an offering to you, right? And so it's easier to build a YouTube channel based off of emotion than just like, here are things. So my advice always is like, have it founder led, or at least have somebody with a face, a real human that has real emotions, be the driving force of the YouTube channel. And and then just settle in for the long haul. I mean, it is, it takes 4 to 6 months to really start to pick up steam. And then from there, it's just a matter of just sticking with your systems. You can ride the wave all the way up to millions and millions of dollars if you just stick with it and commit to getting better with every upload.
Got it. Okay. Well, cool stuff. Good stuff, Scott. Where can the people find you, and where can they find the conference?
Yeah, so they can go to aimarketingworld.co for the conference. They can find me at raffiti.com, RAFFITI, or they can come connect with me on Instagram. I'm Scott Simson, no P in Simpson, SIMSON.
Got it. Cool. All right, Scott, thank you for being on. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it,
Thanks
Scott.
for your time.
Thanks, gents. Appreciate it.
Okay. All right. So that wraps up Scott's interview. Cool dude, Scott Simson. Again, he is the CEO of Raffiti Media. It's a YouTube growth agency. It's a done-for-you service, which is freaking awesome. That dude dropped some knowledge.
Yes, he certainly did. It was agency owner, like 100%. You could just tell, though, right? Like he's lived it. He's gone through it. Yeah. He's still going through it.
He's been through some shit.
Yeah, he's definitely been through all of it, right? So it was really cool, just the insight, everything he was telling us. But I mean, it was our first YouTube guest too, and honestly, you're a YouTube person. I totally forgot that when you mentioned it.
Love YouTube.
It's like you love YouTube. There are people who are just YouTube like loyalists. Like that's all they use. It won't be Facebook, it won't be Instagram, it won't be TikTok. Like I know plenty of other people there. And I think just the growth of the channel alone and how much it impacts people, especially from a long form perspective, it was just really cool to hear, straight from somebody who's in it basically every day, how to leverage it best. So
I love YouTube because I learned how to code there. I learned SEO. I brushed up on some sales skills. I learned AI agents. I mean, like basically it's the second largest search engine in the world. All right. Whatever you want, you can learn right from YouTube. You just have to take the time to do it. And look, his service is obviously spot on, and the conference is AI Marketing World, which is October 21st through the 24th.
That does sound like what we should maybe check out, man. Like that would be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe see if even Mallory wants to come. Maybe we'll hit Mallory.
Yeah. She is a IRL person. Shout out Mallory. She's our honey badger. I bet she'd be down. Dallas Fort Worth, some of the best barbecue I've ever had.
Dude,
was
Terry
in
Black's?
the Dallas area.
Pecan Lodge. Ooh.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Pecan
this
Lodge.
is near the grassy knoll.
Grassy Knoll.
That's Dallas, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, where the whole Kennedy. Yeah. I can't remember. It was like in this kind of longish white hallway, and then you like turn to your left, and then bam, there's like kind of this hole in the wall barbecue. It was freaking unbelievable. It was so good.
Really?
I remember like taking a couple bites and like, yo, this is nuts.
Yeah. I know Terry Black's Pecan Lodge. Then there's some place outside of Austin called Salt Licks. Dude, this place is like just in the middle of the desert, basically. It's just a hut with barbecue, and it's absolutely like those places are always the best.
Dude, 100%. Yeah, so maybe we'll do a field trip October.
Well, good. Be nice to meet Scott in person too. But again, as far as the episode and talking to him, I thought that was really cool. Just something we haven't covered before. And for the listeners out there, I mean, take everything as you can with a sponge, because that was perfect in terms of what you should be doing for a YouTube setup.
Yeah, good stuff. As we're getting close to wrapping up here on the pod, what were your thoughts? You had jumped into Campaign Pilots yesterday.
Yeah.
Like I've been face down in that freaking thing
I want you to tell everybody what you told me yesterday, because this thing has basically transitioned from being this. It was originally an analytics analysis platform for GA4, Search Console, and Google Ads, right? And that was kind of where it started and where it stopped, right? Analyze your data, give you some output. Obviously saves time on reporting, which is great, but you've taken it a step further, really, with everything, right? From Search Console to Google Ads. The analytics are the analytics, but explain a little bit more what you've done on that front.
So I'll back up all the way. So initially I wanted to buy the domain because I saw Julius, which is a great tool, Julius.ai. and you upload CSVs. And I'd had that idea. Obviously, Julius was first. I don't know, a year and a half ago or something. Like, hey, like, wouldn't it be cool? Just like GPT, upload spreadsheet into it, and then they can talk to me and all that. Well, how can I just put that on my own own domain? And then I wanted to buy the domain csv.ai because that had really high volume, and that didn't work out. And then I remember telling you the idea and showing you, and you were like, hey, why don't you put in connectors? And I was like, what the fuck is a connector? Like, what does that even mean? And then I saw it, and I was like, oh, wow, that's actually kind of cool. Okay. So then I started, so you would make these really cool SEO analysis reports.
Looker Studio
for
reports.
Clients. Yeah, Looker, and then it would have like a blurb about the data. Like, okay, you're looking at, Search Console, impressions, click-through rate, all that, month over month. What does that actually mean? I didn't know what that meant. So I'm thinking, okay, there must be other people that have the same problem. But it's like, people don't want, in talking to the Pulsia guy, let me reframe that. Talking to Ben from Pulsia during the interview, I was like, yeah, people don't want to really know the data. Like they just want it done for them.
Yep.
Like they want bird-fed services done for you. So I went back and, again, I strive for convenience, and SEO is such a pain in the ass between keyword research, competitor analysis, what's on your website already, domain authority, blah, 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 all that. Why can't we just have agents do it, right? Like it's...
That's what everybody's doing.
Yeah, like you have to wire it up properly. But so I was face down in that. So it's basically a acquisition channel for your website. For SEO, it's not 100% automated. It will ask you, okay, do you want to rank for AI CRM? Okay, here's a piece of content. You're on page 2. Let's get you to page 1 for this keyword. Here's a piece of content. And by the way, in that content, internally link these 5 keywords to this page here on this website. So it reads your current website, like it reads your sitemap and everything. And then it tells you where your opportunities are, and then it comes up with a plan to rank you for however long you use the platform. And that's on the Search Console side, on the SEO side. So there's different agents, handling different things. So it's really turned into I guess a agent platform that does your website acquisition for you, customer acquisition for you. On top of we were being bullied in Breck on this, and she was right. She's like, okay, well, it's like you can chat with your data, but then what? You log in and just see a blank like chat bar, like what happens? So now when you log in, you see that, you get that aha moment like right away. Your title tags are off, your meta description is off. Here's what to do with it. You want to rank for these keywords based on your domain, and here are your competitors. Here's a gap. Let's hit that gap now. Let's twist that knife on your competitors. So I've been just face deep in that for 3 weeks straight. like every
Yeah, but the build speaks for itself, right? You've done a phenomenal job with it. And again, the additional pieces now of the action after the analysis, right? Because for me, that was also a missing component, right? Again, report saving time, love it. That's great. That takes me a couple hours each week. But now being able to say, have it come back to you and say, okay, here are your 10 weak spots, right? In Google Ads, do you want us to fix them and have it execute it? It's a total game changer. So now I have one command station for Google Ads and Search Console that I can leverage for a client.
So with Google Ads, I didn't know what a negative keyword is. Like, can you explain that? Because that was kind of like a thing that tripped me up. And you're like, no, it was a keyword that was being bid on, but it wasn't getting clicks. Is that right?
That's what it had said. So a negative keyword is basically any keyword that you don't want to bid on anymore. So anytime someone searches it, your ad won't show up. So you're not wasting spend. Like if you have a keyword that you're showing up for 20 times a day and people are clicking on it and it's costing you $5 a click, what is that? That's now $100 you've spent. But if no one converts on it, you've wasted $100. Now compound that over a 30-day period, right? So now you spent $3,000 for everybody to click on a term that you show up for to your website. They get to your website and they don't convert. So you're not making any money. So you make it a negative keyword so that you don't show up for that term anymore, so that you stop wasting money on a term that's obviously just wasting clicks and spend.
And the app caught that. It's like you're spending money on this, but you're not getting any clicks. So like, what the hell are you doing, stupid?
Correct.
Do this instead. Okay, got it. And then there's a piece in there. There was a history, I think. So you had mentioned put in a briefing or not a briefing history, change log. Is that what you called it?
Yes, change log, activity log.
Okay. Activity log, and that's just to see like this is positive. Is that like the campaign at like a kind of like a bird's eye level, or what's the idea behind that change?
Well, because if you pause a keyword or a search term or it implements something and everything tanks, like you want to be able to go back and say, okay, well, it tanked after this change was made. Like I want to undo the change, right? Or I want to see, or if things skyrocket, right? You want to be like, okay, well, what did I change on May 5th that made this, from May 5th forward, that made this a success, right? That made the campaign spike up in terms of positive metrics. So the change history and activity log gives you the insight to be able to go back and look at things that were done to say, okay, yeah, I made this negative keyword change and I updated the ad copy, right? And that produced 100 more clicks and X amount of conversions, like whatever you want to tie it into, but that's the entire reason for the activity log.
Okay, gotcha. Well, that was that was quite a build. Got some good feedback. I got some good feedback on LinkedIn too about like keyword cannibalization and does it do this or does it do that kind of thing. So we're starting to blast it out, and it's exciting. It's gonna morph again. Like
it always will. That's the nature of software in general these days. I think that's the nature of everything these days. I've yet to just age it like anybody. Like I have clients who are just constantly changing their website now. It's just, remember you used to build a website and you just kind of leave it alone. You're like, yeah, let it run. Yeah. No one does that anymore. It just, it's this ever changing, like always got to evolve, always got to be, again, like the top tier thing or whatever cool thing is going on. I feel like that's been more prevalent over the last year than it ever has been in my career.
Well, excited for you to really dive into it as well as people to dive into it. There is a help tab on there, or just like a feedback tab. So anybody that hops into it also put in a 7-day free trial, which I hate. I freaking hate it because to me, and I asked Roman from Gojuberry last week about it. Like, what are your thoughts on a free trial? Does that attract the wrong customers? Rob Hoffman from Clio says it attracts the wrong customers, which I am 100% on board with, because my agency is a premium service and we price for premium clients, because there's a difference between like a $30K a month client and like a $500 a month client. Like you've been there, like there's a huge difference between that. So we don't. How do I say this? We just don't like giving that shit for free. And there's some API costs in there too. But I'm more worried about maybe somebody gets pissed off and about this color of the button, or it's like they'll just
it's valid. It's valid. But listen, you have to test things down the line too.
Yeah. That's neither here nor there. So leave feedback on there. We're on LinkedIn or X or YouTube, of course now. So looking forward to your feedback on that. Next week is episode 15. We have a world-renowned sleep expert coming on, and
right up Charlie's alley. My alley too, really.
Yeah, well, a lot of founders now. So that will be episode 51. That is next. That will drop end of next week. So I think that about covers everything, huh?
That's it. That wraps up episode 50, Big 50. Many more to go. Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate you. Peace.
Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Hit like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.